She appeared in my room and whispered, "I chose you for tonight." His life was ordinary, too ordinary. Nothing exciting ever happened, nothing extraordinary, just work, home, and the same routine day after day. He rubbed his eyes and leaned back in his chair. A sigh escaped him. "Another boring night," he muttered, speaking to the empty room. The only sound was the soft hum of his ceiling fan. Suddenly, the air grew colder. The lights flickered once, twice, then steadied. At first, he thought it was a power surge, but then he noticed something impossible, a faint glow at the corner of the room. It was soft, almost like moonlight, but warmer, alive. He froze. His heart began to beat faster. What is that?" he whispered. The glow grew stronger and a shape slowly appeared. A figure of a woman, tall and elegant, stepped into the light. Her skin shimmered like silver under the dim lamp. Her eyes glowed softly, but not in a threatening way. She had no weapon, no armor, nothing familiar to his world, but her presence made him feel small and important at the same time. And then she spoke. "I chose you for tonight," she whispered. Her voice was soft, calm, and somehow filled with a strange authority. He blinked. I must be dreaming," he stammered. "You are not," she said simply. "I am here and you are awake. That is enough." He wanted to run. Every instinct told him to flee, to hide, to call someone, but something in her voice stopped him. There was no threat, no demand, only purpose, and an invisible weight of urgency hung in the room. Who are you?" he asked, his voice trembling. "I am an observer," she said. "I come from far beyond your world, beyond what you can even imagine. I watch, I learn, and I choose when to speak. Tonight I have chosen you." The words made his mind reel. He wanted to ask more, but nothing came out. He just stared at her, trying to find something human in her, something familiar. And somehow he did not find it, and yet he did not feel fear, only curiosity. "Why me?" he asked finally. "Why choose me? I'm just me." Her glow pulsed softly as if responding to the question. "You are human, and tonight that is enough. Humanity has long been ignored by my kind because you are unpredictable. You feel, you hope, you act without perfect logic. You survive even when others would fail. You are exactly the kind we need to observe closely." He shook his head. I don't understand." "You will," she said. "But first you must trust me. You must see what is hidden from your eyes, even if you do not yet believe." With a gentle gesture, she extended her hand. Light flowed from her fingertips like liquid silver. A sudden vision filled his mind. He was no longer sitting in his small room. He was floating among stars. Planets and moons, strange shapes of crystal and metal, moved around him like dancers in a silent ballet. He could see worlds he had never imagined. Cities of glass, oceans that glowed, creatures that floated without wings. Everything was alive, but not alive in the way humans understood. It was cold, calculated, precise, but beautiful. "This is my world," she whispered in his mind, "and I study yours. I watch your species from afar. For centuries, humans have been small, quiet, overlooked, but tonight we see you differently." He swallowed hard, his mouth dry. "Why me?" he repeated. "Why now?" "Because you are awake," she said simply. "Because you notice, because you feel. You are one of the few humans who will see what others cannot, and in this moment your choices will matter, not only to you but to your world." His head spun. "My choices? I don't even understand what is happening." "Do not worry," she said, her voice calm, soothing. "You will. But first I need you to listen. You are not being chosen because of strength or intelligence or skill. You are being chosen because of what makes humans unique. You hope when it is easier to despair. You act when logic says not to. You create meaning where others see none. That is why you are important." He closed his eyes, trying to process everything. The vision of the stars and planets swirled behind his eyelids, and when he opened them again, he was back in his room. But she was still there, still glowing, still watching. I don't feel important," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm just ordinary." "No human is ordinary," she replied. Your species has survived when logic said you should not. You have built, created, loved, and dreamed against impossible odds. That is why you matter. That is why I chose you tonight. He shook his head again. I don't even know where to start. Start here, she said, moving closer. She didn't touch him, but her presence filled the room. Ask questions, learn, understand, and then act. The galaxy is watching, even if you do not yet know it. And tonight, you will see a small part of why humanity is different. The room felt smaller suddenly, as if her light made the walls shrink. He noticed details he had never seen before: the way dust floated in the air, the faint hum of the electronics, the tiny scratches on his desk. Everything seemed more real, sharper, more alive. You see the world differently now, she said. That is part of the gift. Observation is not just about looking. It is about noticing, understanding, and connecting. Humans have this ability in ways my kind cannot even imagine. He took a step back, overwhelmed. I don't know if I can do this. You already have, she said softly, by noticing me, by questioning me, by being awake. That is enough for now. Tonight you will not be alone. I will guide you, but you must pay attention. The small details, the choices, they will matter. For a moment, silence filled the room. He could hear his own heartbeat, quick and uneven. Then slowly curiosity replaced fear. What happens next? He asked. Next, she said, you will learn what it means to be human, not just to live, but to influence. Not just to survive, but to be seen. And after tonight, you will never be the same. He took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm in his mind. Ordinary life felt far away, like a dream he had already left behind. He looked at her, studying every detail: the glow, the eyes, the soft movements. She was alien, yes, but she carried an energy he could understand, purpose. Okay, he said finally, I'll try. That is all I ask, she replied, for now. And then, as suddenly as she appeared, she moved to the window. The glow brightened for a moment, filling the room with silver light, and then she paused. Her voice, soft and urgent, reached him again. Remember, your mind, your heart, your choices, they are more powerful than you think. And tonight they will be tested. The wind outside picked up, rustling the curtains. For the first time, he felt awake in a way he had never felt before. Ordinary life no longer seemed enough. Something vast, mysterious, and alive had chosen him, and he could not ignore it. He sat back in his chair, staring at the glow fading by the window. His mind raced. What did she mean by tested? What part would he play? And why him of all humans? He did not know the answers, but one thing was clear: his life, the ordinary life he had known, was gone. Tonight something extraordinary had begun, and for the first time in his life he felt important. The room was quiet now. He stared at the empty window where she had disappeared, but the faint glow lingered in his mind. His heart still raced. The questions spun around in his head like planets caught in an invisible orbit. Who was she? Where did she come from? And why had she chosen him? He wanted to call someone, a friend, a neighbor, anyone who could explain what had just happened, but no words came. The ordinary world felt distant and small. He realized that life before tonight seemed like a faint memory, like watching someone else live. He had glimpsed something far bigger, and he could not go back. Then, without warning, the air in his room shifted again. A soft hum filled the space, low but vibrating through his chest. He turned slowly, and there she was, her glow brighter than before, standing in the middle of the room as if she had never left. You are awake, she said. Her voice was gentle, calm, yet carried a quiet strength. Good, you have done well to remain steady. Most humans would have panicked or fled. I don't know what to do, he said, his voice trembling. I can't understand any of this. Do not worry, she said. You will understand, but first you must see what others cannot. You must understand why humanity is unique. With a gesture of her hand, the glow expanded, surrounding him. The walls faded, the ceiling disappeared, and he found himself floating again, higher, beyond the vision he had seen before. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction, and planets spun like colorful marbles in the distance. "This is only a fraction of the universe," she said, her voice echoing in the vastness. "Many civilizations are advanced, far older than yours. They have technology you cannot imagine. They understand physics, biology, and energy in ways humans have yet to dream. But there is one thing they lack, something you have. And tonight you will see it." He blinked, trying to take in the vastness. It was beautiful, terrifying, and impossible. I still don't understand why I'm here. Why me? "Because humans are unpredictable," she replied. "Other civilizations are too precise. They calculate, plan, and anticipate every outcome. They avoid mistakes at all costs. Their lives are long, structured, and orderly, but their hearts are small. You, however, you are capable of choices even when the outcome is uncertain. You can act, create, and hope even when there is no certainty. That is dangerous. That is valuable." Her words made his head spin. "You mean humans are special?" he asked hesitantly. "Yes," she said softly, "but not in the way you think. You are not stronger or faster than others. You are not invincible. You are fragile. You are emotional. You doubt yourself. You make mistakes, and yet despite all of that you survive. You keep going. You keep creating meaning when none exists. That is why I chose you tonight." A sudden vision filled his mind. He saw humans across the earth, people living ordinary lives, working, caring, dreaming. He saw their mistakes, their failures, and their small acts of courage. He saw them laugh, cry, and help one another without expecting reward. "They survive because of more than logic," she said. "They survive because of hope, curiosity, and connection. These are not weaknesses. They are strengths no other species has mastered. That is why the galaxy is beginning to notice you." He felt a strange mixture of pride and disbelief. Humans, messy, confusing, emotional humans, were somehow remarkable. But we are so small. We are so weak compared to the stars, the planets, the other civilizations. "You are small in scale," she admitted, "but not in impact. Do you think the universe measures importance by size or power? No. True influence comes from choice, action, and connection. Humanity's greatest strength is its unpredictability, its refusal to accept certainty, and its endless creativity. That is why I am here. That is why I chose you." The vision shifted again. Now he was watching civilizations unlike anything he had imagined. Cities of crystal towers reached into colored skies. Beings with translucent bodies moved effortlessly through fields of energy. Machines thought, creatures communicated instantly across distances, and logic ruled everything. There was no disorder, no error, no surprise. And yet it felt empty. No laughter, no surprise, no curiosity beyond calculation. It was perfect, yes, but sterile, predictable, cold. "You see," she asked, "these civilizations are advanced, but they are trapped. They cannot imagine beyond their calculations. They cannot act without certainty. They survive, yes, but they do not live. They do not create meaning. They do not hope. Humanity, you are alive in ways they cannot understand. That is dangerous, and that is why you matter." He swallowed hard. The truth hit him. Humans were fragile, chaotic, emotional, and yet that was their power. "So, we are dangerous because we feel?" he asked. "Not only because you feel," she said, "but because you choose despite your feelings, because you dream when logic says it is impossible, because you act when others would wait. You are alive, unpredictable, and endlessly adaptable. And tonight I am testing you, not to harm you, but to see how far a human mind can reach." He shook his head, overwhelmed. "I don't even know how to do this." "You already are," she said, her voice calm and unwavering. "By seeing what I show you, by questioning, by observing, that is the first step." The room faded back into view, and he realized he was again in his small, ordinary bedroom. But something had changed. He noticed details he had never seen before. The soft hum of the fridge, the tiny scratches on the desk, the pattern of dust in the air. Everything seemed alive. You are ready for the next lesson, she said. Not all humans are aware of their strength. Most live and die without knowing the full power of their choices. You will see that tonight, and you will learn that even small acts can change the course of events in ways unimaginable. He shivered. What do I have to do? Nothing yet, she said. Tonight is observation. Watch, listen, understand, but do not be afraid to act when the time comes. Remember, humans survive not because they are perfect, but because they care. They act, they hope, they create meaning. That is why you are important. She moved closer, and for a moment the room was filled with warmth. Your species has survived countless disasters. You have endured plagues, wars, hunger, and despair. And yet you have never stopped striving. That is remarkable. That is dangerous. That is why I chose you. The man sat quietly, trying to absorb her words. His life had felt ordinary, small, and unimportant. But now he understood that his choices, no matter how small, could matter. That humanity itself, in all its chaos and imperfection, was remarkable. Will I see more? He asked. Yes, she said. There is more to see. The galaxy is vast, but humans have a unique place in it. You will witness glimpses of what others cannot. You will learn how much impact one mind can have, even against forces far greater than itself. But first, you must understand the true test. The test? He asked, his pulse quickening. Yes, she said. Not a test of strength, not a test of skill, a test of observation, understanding, and choice. Humans are judged not by what they know, but by what they do with what they know. Tonight, you will see your potential. Her glow brightened again, filling the room with silver light. He blinked, trying to adjust. The vision returned, this time not of stars, not of distant civilizations, but of Earth itself. He saw cities, forests, oceans, deserts. He saw people helping one another, creating, dreaming. He saw failures, mistakes, and disappointments, but also hope, courage, and determination. You see, she said, humans are not perfect. They are messy, emotional, and flawed. But within that chaos lies power, the power to survive, the power to create, the power to change outcomes in ways no other species can. That is why you were chosen tonight. He took a deep breath. For the first time, he felt proud of his species, not for its strength, not for its achievements, but for its heart, its unpredictability, its ability to hope when everything seemed lost. She stepped closer, her voice soft but firm. Remember this feeling. Remember what you see tonight. Humans are not the strongest. Humans are not the fastest. Humans are not the most advanced, but humans are alive, and that is enough to change everything. He nodded slowly. I understand. Good, she said. Now rest. Tomorrow the true test begins. But tonight, remember what makes you human. Remember the power of choice, hope, and connection. That is what will define the future. The glow faded slowly, leaving him alone in his room once again. The hum of the city outside seemed louder now, filled with possibility. The ordinary world felt different, more alive, more urgent, more fragile and precious all at once. He lay back on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Sleep would not come easily tonight. His mind was racing, filled with visions of stars, distant civilizations, and the quiet, unstoppable force of humanity. And for the first time he understood. The galaxy had noticed humans. Not for strength, not for perfection, not for power, but for something far rarer. Something his species carried naturally without knowing it. Humans had hope. Humans had curiosity. Humans had choice. And tonight, he would begin to understand how far that could reach. The night had grown deeper, quieter, yet heavier. He could feel it in the air, a strange tension that seemed to pull at the edges of his room. The ordinary city noises, the hum of distant cars, the soft whistle of the wind, felt far away, almost muted, as if the world itself were holding its breath. He lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the events of the past hours in his mind. The glowing figure, the visions, the words about human uniqueness, they all seemed unreal, yet they had changed him. He could still see the stars, the alien cities, and the humans on Earth thriving in ways he had never truly appreciated before. A sudden flicker of silver light caught his eye. She had returned. The glow at the corner of the room brightened until it filled every corner, soft but radiant. And there she stood, calm and serene, yet with a presence that made him feel both small and significant. "You are ready," she said, her voice carrying an energy that seemed to resonate with his very heartbeat. "Tonight, you will see the test for yourself. Not a test of strength, not of skill. A test of choice, observation, and courage. One human mind can influence more than you imagine." He swallowed hard. I'm ready," he said, though he was unsure if he truly was. His thoughts raced, but determination surged through him. He had learned something vital. Humans were fragile, yes, but within that fragility lay an unpredictable power. She moved closer, her silver glow illuminating every detail of the room. "You will not leave this room tonight. Your mind will travel further than your body ever could. What you choose to see, how you respond, and what you understand will define not only your path but the way your species is perceived." He nodded. What do I have to do?" "Observe first," she said. "Listen, think, and when the moment comes, act. Humanity survives not because it is perfect, but because it chooses. That is your gift." The room faded around him again, leaving only the glow and the sense of motion. Slowly, he realized he was not just seeing, he was feeling. Images of Earth filled his mind, but unlike the last time, he was no longer a distant observer. He could sense the people, each heartbeat, each whisper of thought, each small action, and every choice felt significant. He saw a farmer planting seeds despite a storm approaching. He saw a teacher comforting a frightened child. He saw scientists working tirelessly on problems that seemed unsolvable. He saw ordinary people, imperfect and messy, yet acting with hope and intention. "They survive because they act," she said. "Even when they doubt, even when the outcome is uncertain. That is power no other species has mastered. And now, you will see how your choices can shape the outcome of a greater challenge." The scene shifted. He was no longer seeing Earth. Instead, he was in a massive chamber filled with beings from countless civilizations. Each being radiated intelligence, experience, and technology far beyond human understanding. And yet, he could feel their rigidity. They acted precisely, without hesitation, without mistake, but something was missing: hope, curiosity, and spontaneity. Those were human traits, and they made humans unpredictable in a universe that valued control. "You must understand this," she said. "These beings are powerful, yes, but they are trapped by certainty. Humanity thrives because it dares to act without knowing the outcome. Tonight, you will demonstrate that power in a way they cannot anticipate." He felt fear, but also a strange thrill. How can I affect them?" he asked. "You will observe, you will understand, and then you will act, not with weapons, not with strength, but with choice, with imagination, and with the courage to hope." Images filled his mind again, faster now. He saw decisions being made across galaxies, choices about resources, alliances, exploration, and survival. Most were predictable. Most followed the logic of advanced civilizations. But a few were unpredictable, spontaneous, hopeful. And when those occurred, they created ripples that could not have been calculated. "You see it now," she said. "The galaxy notices patterns. Most are boring, precise, and predictable. Humanity's patterns are not. You do not follow the rules of certainty. That is your advantage." He realized what she meant. Humans were chaotic, emotional, and impulsive, but that chaos allowed them to survive and thrive in ways logic could not. A small act, a fleeting choice, could have consequences that advanced technology and intelligence could not anticipate. She extended her hand, and suddenly he was drawn into a single, focused vision. It was Earth, but not as he knew it. Cities were in motion, forests expanded, oceans glimmered under alien skies. Humanity was not in danger yet, but there was a subtle tension, a fragile balance. And somewhere in the distance, the observers, those advanced civilizations, watched, analyzing, calculating. "You will act now," she said. "Observe carefully, choose wisely. Your response will echo across more than just your planet. It will show why humans must be seen, understood, and respected." He took a deep breath. Every instinct screamed that he was not powerful enough, not capable enough, not significant enough. But he remembered her words, her lessons from the past hours. Humans survived not because they were perfect, but because they acted, hoped, and chose. And so he made his choice, not with tools, not with weapons, not with knowledge, but with courage. He imagined an act of hope, of connection, of inspiration. He pictured humans helping one another across the globe, choosing compassion over fear, creativity over destruction, courage over hesitation. He concentrated, focused, and sent that intention outward, not as magic, not as force, but as pure human will. The vision rippled. Colors shifted, patterns changed, and even the distant observers paused. For a moment, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then, slowly, the rigidity of the advanced civilizations shifted. They began to recognize the unpredictable value of humans. They did not fully understand it, but they could sense it. A species that could act with hope, defy prediction, and create meaning where others could not. "You see," she said softly, "you do not have to fight. You do not have to dominate. You only need to be human. Your choices, your hope, your creativity, that is enough to change perceptions across the stars." He sank to his knees, exhausted but exhilarated. He had done nothing extraordinary in the ordinary sense. He had simply chosen, hoped, and acted, but the impact was immense. The observers were reconsidering, recalculating not just the value of Earth, but the entire potential of humanity. "You have passed the test," she said. Her glow dimmed slightly, softer now, warmer. "Not because of strength or skill, but because you understand the power of being human. That is rare and it is remarkable. That is why you were chosen tonight." He looked at her, awe and disbelief written on his face. I don't feel special," he said quietly. "You are special," she replied. "Not because you are perfect, but because you are human. You survive, create, hope, and choose when others cannot. That is the greatest strength in the galaxy. And now, because of you, the galaxy has begun to see it." The room began to return to normal. The glow faded, leaving only the soft light of his small desk lamp. The city outside hummed softly, ordinary, quiet, safe. And yet nothing felt ordinary anymore. He had glimpsed the extraordinary, touched it, and participated in it. She was gone, but her presence lingered in the quiet warmth of the room, in the hum of his heart, in the steady rhythm of his thoughts. He sat on his bed, staring at his hands, thinking of Earth, humans, and the vast, unpredictable universe. The ordinary life he had known seemed distant now. He understood, finally, that humanity's strength was not in power, technology, or perfection, but in hope, choice, creativity, and courage. For the first time, he felt connected to something far greater than himself. He felt pride not just in himself, but in the entire human race. Fragile, emotional, chaotic humans, capable of shaping the galaxy simply by being themselves. A soft breeze rustled the curtains. He closed his eyes and whispered to himself, "We are human, and that is enough." And somewhere beyond the stars, observers in alien civilizations paused, recalculated, and reconsidered. Humanity was no longer invisible. Humanity was no longer just another species. Humanity was alive, unpredictable, and powerful in ways no one could have imagined. Tonight, one human mind had reminded the galaxy why humans mattered. And tomorrow, Earth would continue, ordinary yet extraordinary, carrying the quiet power of hope, choice, and courage into the vast unknown. He lay back on his bed, smiling. Ordinary life would never be the same, because now he knew, humans survive not because they are perfect. Humans survive because they dare to be human.